the word intuition can kind of set you off and trigger you a lot as a fearful avoidant. I remember seeing it on a book once and having a genuine full-blown panic attack. And we are going to dive into why that is. But first of all, intuition is being portrayed and seen as this big thing. And it's almost like it's being put on a pedestal by society. And therefore, it is the end all be all. Is that a word? Is that a thing? The end boss. So when your intuition tells you something, that you have to follow it. You need to follow it. You don't have a choice. That's what I felt like. Let me know in the comments if this is what your view of intuition is or was also. That when your intuition tells you something, you have to follow it. Otherwise, you're just being very dumb and irresponsible, because your intuition is like the magical, wise thing that will tell you what you need to do. And so I was so afraid that my intuition would tell me to break up with Aryan, that I would have to leave him, because obviously I was having intense doubts about him, about the relationship, about what I was feeling. And I was just so scared that my intuition would come out and say, yeah, no, you have to break up with him right now. And what was interesting about that, looking back, is that there was a voice screaming at me constantly that I had to break up, that I was just fooling myself. Who am I kidding? I am just leading him on. You know what you feel. You know this isn't right. You have to break up with him. And yet I kind of ignored that voice. That makes it sound easy. It wasn't. But I ignored that voice, and I thought that my intuition was something super even deeper, and I was just so scared that that intuition would say the same thing, but then I would not have a choice to do it, but to do it, to have to break up. And so it was just very confusing to me. Other people try to tell me, oh, you just have to follow your heart, have to follow your intuition. And when you're in that state of panic and fear, it's impossible to even distinguish anything resembling an intuition. But also I had a very wrong image of what intuition was. And so we are going to talk about that too. So if this is triggering and you're super scared of what I'm going to say, know that I know those fears, and that your intuition is not that black and white. It's not as scary as you think. And we will talk about that in the end. So for a fearful avoidant, control, wanting control, is a big core thing. You want control. Now imagine that there supposedly is something deep inside of you that not everybody has access to, not everybody listens to, but that can tell you something which then you have no choice but to follow. Just imagine that. That taking away your own control, that taking away your own power, that's pretty scary. So it's logical that you are scared of the word intuition, because it shakes at that control. It kind of like takes away that control that you want so badly. It feels like you are powerless over that, because whatever your intuition says, that's what you have to do. And maybe it will say something that you don't want, and then that takes away your power and your control. So it's logical that you're afraid of that with the image that's being portrayed about intuition. And there's a lot of things about this. I made a list of points, but as I'm talking, more points come up. First of all, where this fear comes from, this fear for intuition. So you're afraid that something inside you, deep inside you, is going to tell you, demand of you, something that you don't want. That is a very authoritative dynamic. So that would mean your intuition is a very authoritative thing. It will tell you something and you have no choice but to follow it, because if you go against it, you will be sorry. You will regret it. That's kind of like the connotation it has, right? If you don't follow your intuition, that's just dumb and you will be unhappy and that's your own fault. So you will be sorry and you will regret it. It's also that there's this other, that there's this thing that is other than you, it is inside of you, and that will demand things of you that you don't want to do. So it's almost like it's a different person, it's a different thing. So we have this authoritative, it's not a figure, but it's an authoritative thing. And it's also other than you. That's what you're scared of, right? If you now know a lot about the fearful avoidant attachment style, does this ring a bell from your childhood? A lot of fearful avoidants have had a parent or caregiver who was authoritative, which means that what they said went. They had the last say. Whatever they said, you had to do. You had to adhere to whatever their commands were. They were very demanding. They didn't listen to you. They didn't really take your feelings, your needs into account. Your boundaries didn't matter. This is just what a lot of fearful avoidants have dealt with growing up. And so you've grown up with this idea, if an authoritative figure says something, that's what I have to do, and I don't have a choice. It doesn't matter what I want. I don't have a choice. So doesn't intuition then, as I just described it, kind of sound like this authoritative parent figure that just demands things of you even when it doesn't take into account what you want? That is what you're scared of, right? That your intuition, something deep inside of you, will tell you that you have to break up, you don't have a choice, it doesn't matter what you want. I hope you're connecting the dots here and seeing that you created your intuition to be something it is absolutely not. It is absolutely not. First of all, your intuition is not something other than you. It is not something that out of the blue, out of nowhere is going to demand things of you or give you, how do you say that? Lost a word. It will come back to me. It will tell you things to do. That's not what your intuition is. First of all, it's not so black and white. I think this was second of all, because the first of all was that your intuition is not something other than you. So second of all, it's not black and white. Your fear brain, fear only deals in black and white, because that is very clear, and your fear brain just does not have any capacity or space to deal with nuances. Intuition is not black and white. And so you will know that it is fear speaking when it is screaming at you, first of all. It is very demanding. It is very black and white. It's fatalistic. So when you don't do this, you will be unhappy forever. And I mean, there's a list that I can go off. Maybe that's a different video of how to know when it's fear talking. So it's definitely not black and white. And the moment I kind of realized, or the moment I decided I wasn't going to be so scared of my intuition anymore, there were a couple of things. First of all, my therapist told me, you think that intuition is this deep thing inside you that you've never heard before, and that will just come out and tell you that you have to do something that you don't want. But I don't think intuition is this deep down thing. It is way more at the surface than you think, and you are already hearing it, or it's already inside of this whole story that you're creating. And so it's not like a new thing that is the end boss that will demand things of you. And that was very important, that I just kind of let go of this thought that there was something even deeper that I was not listening to, and therefore I was unhappy and it was my own fault. And second of all, I started seeing intuition as a source of love. I started calling it love source, because as I healed, I realized more and more that my intuition is not this demanding, authoritative, mean, fearful thing. That is just not what intuition is. Intuition is just pure love. And love is not demanding. Love is not mean. Love is not manipulative. Love won't make you do things you really don't want to do. Love is not something that doesn't take your needs and boundaries into account. It is not a black and white thing. It is not this is right, this is wrong, so you have to do this. It is always nuanced. And so I started seeing intuition as love source, as something that is just love. And love is kind and love helps you. And so that kind of evolved into me seeing that your intuition is something that is helping you to get where you want to go. So it is not demanding things of you. It is not telling you what to do. It is open to helping you. It is open to guiding you wherever you want to go, because it's non-judgmental and it is unconditional. So there are no conditions. It's not you have to do this or else, because that's a condition. And it's not if you don't do this, you're dumb and irresponsible, because that's a judgment. So your intuition is just something that will help guide you towards that what you want. And I realized this more and started working with it more when I realized that people change their complete lives by visualizing whatever they want to be, by affirmations, by healing, by releasing old constructs and old beliefs. So apparently it is possible to create a vision of what you want and then release any of the resistance to it, and then you work towards that and maybe are guided towards that. And that's how I started seeing intuition, that I am not powerless. I am the absolute opposite of powerless. I am in control, and my intuition is there to help me. It is here to serve me, as is everything that is inside me and around me. And this, for fearful avoidance, is such a new concept, that there is something inside you that is here to serve you, to help you get where you want to go, that actually is designed to help you get your needs met and find out what your needs are and just get whatever you want. Your desires matter, your needs matter, whatever you want matters so much, and you are in control. You are way more powerful than you think. So that's when I started working with visualizations, and I just realized that, you know, I want to be with Arjen. I so desperately wanted to be with him. And all I wanted was just to be happy. And I had analyzed the relationship to death almost for 5 or 6 years when I was in the crash state of the fearful avoidant attachment style. So it wasn't as if I was going into this blind. I analyzed every single part of his character, of his life, of his everything, to see if there was something that I didn't like. And of course I found a couple of things, but still the overarching thing was that I just wanted to be with him, and I was just so afraid that I wasn't allowed to, because my intuition would tell me that I had to break up. And when I realized that all I want is just to be with him and be happy, then my next thought was, well, then I just have to change my feelings. Because here's this great guy that has shown again and again that he's committed, that he's loyal, that he's kind, that he's all the things that love is. And now I just have to change my feelings, which have a lot to do with me. And I am allowed to, because I'm allowed to have what I want, be important enough to not let anything get in the way. And so I started visualizing myself being happy with him and being happy in this relationship. And that's when so much pain came up, and the fear of rejection and the fear of abandonment and all these deep fears that were actually the reason that I had so many doubts, because doubts can be a coping mechanism to not have to deal with those fears. But it helped so much to see that I am in control and my intuition is here to serve me. It is here to help me because I am important enough to have desires, to have what I want. I'm not some dumb little irresponsible kid. That's what I guess I felt like. That has to be told what to do. It was a journey, it was a process of trusting myself, of allowing myself to be powerful, of taking control of my life, of making my own choices with the risk of sometimes making a mistake. But again, nothing is black and white. So it's not that there is one person that will make you happy for the rest of your life. I don't believe in the one. I just believe in the one love, which can manifest in different kinds of relationships. And so as I started moving into that more nuanced view, which started happening more and more as I healed more and more, I started taking control of my life and started taking control of how I felt. And this wasn't a thing I did in one day, obviously, because there were a lot of fears around this. And again, I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea I had the fearful avoidant attachment style. I don't know what I was healing. I just knew that I had to heal, all the while doubting whether this was the right thing to do and whether it would work at all. So it took me a long time, but it doesn't have to take a long time because now so much more is known. I mean, this was also 14 years ago, and all of these spiritual things or even personal development things like visualization and stuff, that wasn't very common yet. That was just for people that needed the help, you know. There was a lot of taboo around that. So we live in a very different age, and so it really does not have to take long. But ever since then, I did take control of my life, and I did use those visualizations, affirmations, and the tapping, emotional freedom technique to release any resistance and blocks. And it is true that you can create whatever you want to create, and that is okay. You get to decide what you want, and you are so much more in control of your life and of how you feel and how happy you feel than you think. So healing is a very big part of that. But just knowing that your intuition is here to serve you out of love, out of unconditional, non-judgmental love. It will never tell you what to do. It is just suggesting that, oh, if this is what you want, then maybe, read this book, or do this, or say this to your partner, or maybe meditate on this, or maybe write this, brain dump on this subject. So that is way more the way your intuition will talk to you, speak to you. It will never tell you that you have to do something. It will never tell you that you're dumb and irresponsible. It will never demand things. It will never be authoritative or manipulative or tell you that if you don't do this, then something bad will happen. Your intuition is here to serve you, and it is just love. It is just trying to help you because you are important and you are valuable and you are amazing. So you deserve to know that your needs are important and to take that control of your life, not just in your relationship, but in your whole life. Nobody needs to tell you what to do. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. What you want matters. If you want to heal the fearful avoidant attachment style, and with that, also start seeing your intuition as something that serves you and guides you and helps you and supports you, which makes you feel so much less alone also, and makes you feel so much more in control of your life, but also love life way more, then check the link in the description below for the Healed and Happy online program. There we go to the roots of the fearful avoidant attachment style, and releasing these fears around intuition will just give you so much more than you can imagine now. Let's see if I can describe. It's just there's nothing inside me that I'm afraid of anymore. I know that whatever is here to help me and to guide me and to support me. And I I know anything is possible. So I know the future is just going to get better and better and better and better, instead of me being so afraid of making a mistake or doing the wrong thing. And I just want that for you. I just want that for you too. All right, let me know in the comments below if this was valuable to you and what you got out of this. I'm just curious. And as always, I am so happy you are here, and I am here to serve you. You are important. You are very important. And I will see you in the next one.